and welcome to Reflection Show. My name is Martha Anabila. There are lots of times where young people are growing or have grown and they just feel like having butterflies in the stomach, you can't sleep, you don't hear from him or her. That alone is enough to be in a relationship. But I think that there is more to being in a relationship than just feeling those butterflies and all of that. Over the years, we've heard of a lot of people being in relationships who have been abused and all of that. Unfortunately, we just focus on the physical abuse, but there is more to it. Today, we'll be looking at understanding relationships, any kind of relationships, and we'll be delving also into marriage. How to identify the red flags, how to deal with the red flags, and how it can be managed. And of course, the religious people, whether divorce is accepted, separation is accepted, and how all of these can be dealt with appropriately. I'll be speaking with two amazing counselors who have so many years experience in making sure that young people and even adults are living healthy lives, especially in their relationships. I'll be speaking with Madam Grace Efiala, she's a counselor, and also Mr. Marvin Senanu Ashia, who will be helping us to understand all of these things. And of course, the bruises that we get in relationships, in marriages, and how we can know that what this woman is saying is a form of abuse, and how we can easily use the exit way. Let's go for a break. When we are back, we delve into the discussion. I am Martha Anabila. Stay tuned. Welcome back from the break. A very big thank you to the Pegs Beauty Salon for my hair, Too Glam for my makeup, and Caronat Closet for my shirt. If you want to sponsor the Reflection Show, please call us on 054 9578512 to get the contact details on your screen. Today we are recording at the King David Sport here in Tamale. It's a restaurant, it's a sport, anything, live band that you are looking for the weekend, for celebrations, or even in the evenings afterwards, somewhere nice and special to relax. The King David Sport here in Tamale on the Borga Road. Quickly, let me start with you, Mr. Marvin. Thank you very much for coming on the Reflection Show. It's such a great honor to have you both. Relationships. We've been hearing so much about relationships, and sometimes you don't even understand what it is. What do we mean by relationships in the first place?
Well, relationships, it's a matter of looking out for each other. So it starts right from friendship, family, then marriage or romantic relationships. And in all those examples, something stands out. Looking out for each other. So for me, I just break it down to you're there for me, I'm there for you. And that's a relationship. Yes. So even when you go back to your days in primary, there's this guy or girl in your class that you always try to look out for. Like during break time, you're looking, especially when it's like break time, you're looking for the person so that you guys, exactly, that is how relationships start. Even at home with your siblings too, there's always that special one among them that you really want to tell a lot more of your secrets too than the other people. So that's just basically what relationship is to me.
Mommy, what does relationship mean, especially in this our generation?
So I would agree with what Marvin has said. And then I'll say that in this generation, I think relationship has taken a different dimension. So it probably is not exactly about looking out for each other, but looking out for myself, for me.
Or what I can get
what I stand to benefit, what I stand to gain from the relationship. And so you can see the dimensions have actually somewhat changed. Yeah.
Over the past few months or years, or just few months, we've heard of people staying and being in abusive relationship. And especially for me, I read a lot of stuff on Facebook. Every time I hide my ID, my husband is beating me, my this one have that. And sometimes I ask myself, hey, this marriage, can some of us marry because it's like out of 1,000 stories, you hear probably just one that talks about good marriage. What are we doing wrong?
So I would say that sometimes one of the things we're doing wrong is we tend to hide the negatives more than the positives.
Okay.
So like you said, you're reading things on social media and all you're reading is all the negative things about the marriage and not the positive ones. Why aren't we publishing and bringing out the positive ones? And yet there are 1,001 good marriages out there that's working just fine. But I think the issue is, of course, we don't see the need in bringing out the positive because yes, it's working. So what's the big deal? We feel like the negative has to come out because we have to find solutions to it. But we should start changing the narrative. The positive should come out, and it would help solve and resolve some of the negative and illuminate the whole system rather than the other way around. So basically, those are some of the things.
What do you think we are doing wrong in our generation in making sure that we see that kind of relationship from our fathers and our grandfathers in our generation? What is not working for us?
I think, first of all, we've lost the concept of friendship in marriages. Because I believe that two people have to be either friends or a master and a maid. Okay, those are the two ways marriages work. If it's a master and a maid, like back in the days, our forefathers, then our grandmothers used to call them my lord, and our grandfathers would give an instruction, and he dares not, fight back, and then there was peace. And in our time, there should be friendship because we can't do the master and the maid thing. So buddies. I always talk about Ifya and her husband. I don't know if I can get personal, but there are two people I really admire. They are friends. Okay. So something goes wrong. And there's a way you handle issues with your friend. A friend can tease you and you're cool. A friend can step on your toes and there's a way you're going to take it. So if we imbibe that or we bring that into marriage, it makes it easier. But if you see your wife as the wife, the terminator, then the husband is the commando, there's definitely going to be fights. Because we normally don't forgive our enemies. So, but then our friends, we are ready to forgive. So I think we've lost that aspect of friendship and relationship or marriages. And that's the cause of most of the problems we are having. Yes.
So does it mean that we have to start being friends or maybe dating people that we already know? Because there are times that yes, girls say this a lot. A guy comes, oh, but I see you like a friend. We are brothers, and they want someone who is like a total stranger. Do you think that we should be able to try to date people that we are very familiar with?
Yes, I believe that best friend, that bestie, or that guy who has been policing you around campus is your husband, personally. Because we go looking for waterfalls, and then the rivers and the lakes are just around us. This is a guy who understands you, okay, who is ready to tolerate your nonsense.
Who knows?
But then you see this other guy with the 6-pack and all that. Not because I don't have a 6-pack. With the 6-packs and all that, and then and the beard and all that, and then you go like, no. Meanwhile, your bestie, he looks out for you. Even when you go to an abusive relationship and they beat you, you come back to him. Yes. So that is a brother. A husband is supposed to be a brother, a big brother, and a friend. If you get it right. So I believe that when we start dating people that we are very familiar with, we can negotiate our way through some of the challenges easier than if we pick totally strange people. Okay. I'm not saying completely you need to do that, but ideally it would be better.
Some are also able to build friendship even with new people as soon as they meet.
Yes, it depends on you. It depends on you personally, yeah.
So now there are lots of red flags that we don't take note of. What are some of the red flags that we can notice that this thing that this girl or this guy is doing is something that is not right for me to prevent even getting better with him?
Okay, so let me take it from where Marv ended about the friendship thing. What he said just cast my mind back to Kola and I, or my husband and I. So it's like you may not even start on the right footing.
Okay.
But once the friendship is struck, that chord is struck, it's a gradual process. You build a friendship. And you see, when you're friends, you let your guard down easily. You are that comfortable in your space. So you don't need to walk on eggshells. You don't need to put on airs. But unfortunately, that is where the red flags are coming from.
Okay.
When you are friends, it's easy to pick the red flags. When you are not friends, I can put on, and I keep telling people, even when you're friends, the person can decide, this is what I want you to see.
Okay.
You cannot know it all.
Okay.
The person can decide. I remember one relationship I was in. Look, the first year was par excellent. In fact, I was on cloud 9. And this is the relationship everybody approved of. So, to me, I was there. Then, 1+, things started changing, and I was like, I have questions, and this attitude comes up, and I want to question, but I'm wondering if when I question, you question, and then you see a different side and reaction you've never seen, you've never expected. I'm talking about 1 year plus in a relationship. And I'm like, wow. It took me a very, a lot of reflection, in-depth reflection, and boldness and courage to walk out of that relationship. And I want to say this, that I wish mothers and our parents would be as objective as possible in a relationship. Listen, I wasn't bold enough to step out. Do you know what this gentleman's mom told me? She was very upset with me, one, for not letting her know that her son has been abusive and not nice and all of that. Then she just went to pick an album and she put it down. See, I've seen my pictures. You think I was just living for slimming sake? Because when men, and I was surprised. And that day, he said, look, young lady.
The abuse
she had been through, and she said, young lady, I love you as not just a daughter-in-law to be, but as my daughter. I will hate for any man to do this for my daughter. If my son doesn't know what he has got, please walk out. Look, my mother cried because everybody, this is a relationship. We've gone, our grandparents can't know each other, so we are there.
It's like a generation relationship.
Thank you. So you can imagine how we had to now come from the top, break down, okay, so this, but once the mother gave the approval, and I just had, so we sometimes it's also the parents. We are seeing the red flags, but we still push our words to go in there because of, again, what sometimes we stand to gain or what people will say. And some of the red flags, it's like, Martha, you're dating someone. Then, like I said, there's a reaction you've never seen. Then he's angry and then he hits you. Maybe, and that's the first time after probably 2 years of relationship. He's never done that before. What is your reaction? Or what action are you taking? Immediately he'll say, I'm sorry. In fact, he may or may not. Or he may come back later to explain and say, I'm sorry. Granted, you forgive. But what intentional action are you taking to disabuse his mind of taking that action again? Or what are you doing to reinforce the action? Because that is where the abuse starts from. Or your first time, oh, yeah, let it pass. He's not done that before. So let it pass. So we are cool in the shortest time. Hey, you have reinforced the wrong thing. He will do it again. And I remember I heard a lady pastor talk about she and her husband at the beginning of their marriage. Sometimes we also need to understand that some of the red flags start from the training, the upbringing, what the people also see around them. So She's saying that her husband has never beaten her and never beat her. But guess what? When he's angry, his reaction is such that he can easily hurt you.
Wow.
So the first time it happened, she was expecting, the man was driving, they were in the car, argument, and the man just out of anger, just hit the car, and it was a fight against something. So that should tell you. And she said, what? And I like what she did. She said that night, in fact, from the car, I didn't utter a word. When we got home, I cooked his meal. He slept. In the morning, breakfast, said, no problem. But when he came back from work, I was gone. He says, where did I go? I went to a friend of his. I didn't go anywhere. I didn't go to my family. I didn't go and report to my... I went to a friend of his just to stay away for him to know that it's a no.
It's a no.
Because he even can
It's
even
a
hurt
no-no.
himself.
Yeah,
So we don't
exactly.
even care. Actually, kids were in the car.
Yeah,
No.
yeah.
So he says that now this man actually came back after some time searching for her, or now came back, pleaded, I agree. No. Then it happened a second time. Then the man agreed that, look, based on what I have seen around me growing up, I have a problem. It's a weakness. I need to work on it. And I said, so that is the step in the right direction. It's either a weakness or it's wickedness. You choose one and then you know where you're aligning. So those are some of the things about it.
Wow. I'm just looking at somebody who is in a car and knows that the car hitting something can even take his life. And hey, that's like this one, the serious red and black flag altogether.
Because at that time, the person is not seeing.
Yes.
He's not seeing anything, no.
Wow.
He's seen red. And I tell people that we all have some percentage of madness in us. It depends on the situation. It depends on, no, that's what you think. But it depends on the situation. It depends on what the issues are. And then again, don't forget, people intentionally work on themselves. So we assume, oh, she's calm. Oh, it's because the person may have worked on themselves intentionally. But you don't know the extent to which you take the person and it may flare.
Well, it's getting quite interesting. When we come back, I want to find out from why do men, what trigger? We've had these men saying that is a woman that women have mouth trigger. Why do you think that men would hurt a woman? Let's go for a break. We'll be right back.
Books by Pastor A.L. Fant. They are inspired by the Holy Spirit, simple to comprehend, relevant in application, and so lovely to read. Grab copies like Dynamics of Kingdom Influence, Dynamics of Ministry, Marcus King for Church Workers, Money Matters, and she calls herself a woman. This marriage must work. No more curses. Loaded mouth. Secrets of Kingdom Dominion. The exploits of service. Things fall apart. Church without bleeding pulpit. Singles mingle, and many more.
Welcome back. It's still a reflection show with me, Martha and Abila. Now we want to find out. Men have been saying that some men patrol some men. That sometimes women we talk a lot. Some women talk a lot. They provoke the men and all of that. How true is it that it's the women who trigger the men to hate?
So you see, the thing about abuse is that we normally focus on the obvious one, which is physical. But there is emotional abuse, there is mental abuse. So most of the times in Africa, for example, men are seen to be physically stronger. That is why it comes out that men abuse women physically. But there are a lot of women who also abuse men physically, emotionally. And women have the power of abusing men emotionally because of their words, like you said. You see, when you say a man is useless, you may think that it's just in a particular context, like buy me a drink, and I'm not able to buy, you say I'm useless. What you've told him is that all of his life is rubbish. Okay, so then you trigger that kind of thing, and the only way I don't. When I see a man talking back at a woman or they're having a quarrel, we see him to be a sissy because you can't do that. So the only way men try to show their superiority is by hitting. But let me state categorically clear that if you are going into a relationship and you have anger issues, drop it. Because marriages, relationships, marriages especially, they are like you are watering roses. And once you're watering the roses, you got to water it with the thorns. You can't avoid the thorns. So then, if you said something about an intentional effort to remain calm and to be a better person, okay. So, for example, I always say that marriage made me a better person. Before marriage, I married quite early. Before marriage, I was the playboy, beautiful, like ladies man, and I also had temper and a whole lot of things. I had temper with my mom and all that. We used to do the thing, you know. And then when I got married, I realized that if I try solving an issue with that temper, the issue will still occur, because at the end of the day, there's nothing you can do when you are stuck with that person. So how do I handle it? Then I started making personal efforts to go like, you know, there are times you can really walk away. And what I noticed is that there are times you walk away and you come back and the situation has totally changed. That's why I started learning about women. So, for example, it was just a mood swing, like some 2 minutes. That's why she did that nonsense. And then by the time you had gone and come, she's the loveliest person. Then I go like, oh, so it's just some momentary stuff. So men have to learn that dealing with a woman is like you trying to solve a complex mathematical equation. Okay, the calmer you are, the better you're going to solve it. But if you try to do giddy without calculator and all that, you will hit.
Oh, Charlie, we are mathematical equations.
It's the truth. It's the truth. Even a mother told her daughter, no, her son, that like he was trying to handle an abusive wife. The woman used to abuse him with words. Then they were like, you know, if she wants to go, she wanted to leave the marriage. Then the guy was crying and trying to get her back and all that. And the guy's mother said, when a woman loves you, even when a woman loves you, how, I want to put it was in P. Like, how is it? No, how is it even when a woman loves you? And now that she doesn't love you.
Yeah.
Are you getting the context?
Yeah.
So it means that even when a woman loves you, it still works. And now that she says she doesn't love you, then you should expect that one is just, you know, the worst. So men have to just have the heart, a bigger heart, to be able to marry. That's all I can say.
You think it's the upbringing? Because for me, I think that I've come from a family where they made, okay, this is a man, this is a woman. And they made sure that the man can do certain things. So even my younger siblings who are guys, they are giving kind of some supremacy than me. So they are like, hey, you can't talk to a man. I was like, that's my younger brother. But he can't talk to me like he's okay because they feel that he is the man. So doesn't it mentally put in their mind that they're on top of the world even whilst they are young? And when they grow, they still have that mentality.
It's a spiritual order, okay? But it doesn't mean that they should abuse it.
Okay.
It's a spiritual order. So God created the man and then added the woman to him and all that. So
you should be happy that God added somebody to it.
Yes. So immediately a man becomes a very good man is when he realizes that this woman is my support base. And then she makes me complete. She's a compliment to me, actually. So then there wouldn't be that fight for supremacy again. Because the woman adores the man as the spiritual head. And the man says that without you, I can't do anything. So you treat each other very well. Okay, you worship each other. And then I don't think there would be a lot of problems. I'm not saying, problems are going to be in marriages. But once you understand the spiritual, you see, people go into stuff without getting the spiritual principles. When you understand the spiritual principles of some of these things, you, a woman, You wouldn't even try to be the head of a family.
Shout on your husband.
You wouldn't try to be the head of a family, because any woman who tries to be the head of a family is heading towards doom. It's a spiritual principle. So there are smart women who are richer and stronger than their husbands, and they can even slip money in their husbands' pockets to pay in public, just so that the spiritual order will be fulfilled.
Sure.
And when you do that, why won't there be peace? You understand? So it's just about, I think the youth has to start looking at, we can have fun and all that, but always check the spiritual principles of life before you go into relationships. That's what I can say for now.
Mommy, what do you think ladies can do? It's like the things we are looking for now, like he said, we're looking for the six-pack, the guys with the beard. You can look for a church boy. I want someone
The
who
one pack.
can pray and sing hallelujah. That's the kind of guys I want. Or the guy who has the money. What should I do? Maybe if I make up my mind to go into a relationship as a young girl, what should I do? How should I maybe probably prepare my mind, a lot of things, to be able to date that or even marry that young man?
So the young ladies, our expectations are out of the roof.
Is it material? Because sometimes
So it's both material and everything. Like you said, for instance, let's talk about the six-pack. It's not that you can't get a guy with a six-pack, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
But are you out looking out for a six-pack, or you are out looking out for somebody you can bond with, you love, and you love the person for everything they are and are not? It's the idea, the mindset you take in there. Somebody wants a six-pack. She's forgotten. Maybe a year or two to come. When I met Kola in Legon, because he played basketball and this
He had
a six-pack. Today is a six-pack there. So because of
I used to have six-pack too.
So the point is that it's more of a
You know what you are saying? Some behind the scenes are loving it. They will go and record it.
The other side of it, that as a guy, you must look good and be healthy.
Yes, you must.
We don't need your six-pack per se, but you must look good and be very healthy. And likewise, the lady. Now, you need, as a woman, to love yourself first. And I will say the same goes for the men. You see, when you don't have self-love, you are eager to go into anything and call it a relationship with the hope that you get some consolation, some comfort, it's a no-no. You don't know yourself well. So when you go into the relationship, the guy will determine your self-worth. I have been in a relationship where I can be locked up in a room. Look, that thing, I don't even know. We were supposed to go to the beach with my cousins. We have packed. He picked me from home. We've gone. He says, Grandma says I should do something. Just give me a few minutes, I'll be back. I'll be back the whole day. I have an idea the room was being locked. Wow.
You were locked in the room.
Yes, please.
Hey.
So the excuse and reason I get is, it was reflex. You know what and what can you do about it? Was reflex. There's nothing you can do. At that time, which phone was there for you to use to call? If there was a phone, big issue, you could call.
Yeah.
Yes, and so you realize that if you don't know what you're about, then you can't join somebody who may have or also may not have direction. What's your purpose? What are you looking for? Is it just the physical or material things? Look, people have looked up for material things. There's absolutely nothing wrong with dreaming and dreaming big. There's nothing wrong with envisaging yourself build a big house or whatever kind of dream house you have. There's absolutely nothing wrong. As you are going, are you willing to give the kind of support, the kind of help, put in your effort to add on the man's effort to get it work, or yours is you go, you cross your leg, it's all about the man. The man should do everything.
Why do some people find it difficult to lead abusive relationships and marriage? If it's marriage, maybe it can be a bit dicey. But look at relationship, because I don't stay in your house. I can just not pick up your call again and just go.
So,
but why do actually ladies, they are still in abusive?
So for me, it's not even just in relationship or marriage. Either way, it's dicey. It's dicey because, yes, I could just get up and walk out. But the interesting thing that sometimes we don't see behind the scenes is that for somebody who has that abusive mind or character, because they know what they are about, they would have worked on your esteem. And I'm telling you, it happens to me. That's what I'm telling you. They would have worked on your esteem. Look, ground zero.
That's true.
So honestly, so the person approves of you. If any other person approves of you, it is a non-starter.
That's true.
So the person endorses something you have to do. If any other person endorses, it is a non-starter. And they know it, so they are able to push you in that place. Why would you be there with a guy or your husband and person say, I don't want this friend around you, and I don't want this your sister and she talks too much, and I don't want. But the point is that all these people were in your life before the person came. So what in particular do they not want? Yes, there are some friends who are not necessarily good influence on you or something.
And you should even know that and not a boyfriend or husband should tell you.
So that is a different issue altogether. But if you are my bestie, we do everything together. Then guy appears on the scene. After 2 months, they come tell me, my boyfriend says that, and he doesn't like seeing you around.
Oh, you've been a girl before, you know it.
So, I mean, when you come and you're telling me that, if I'm also a good friend, my antenna should be really high. I should begin to know that there's something amiss. So it's a two-way thing. We need to help each other. Because the person, once the abuse starts, you see, and it doesn't start as abuse for you to see the abuse. When somebody is working on your mind,
when they have a model they are working on, they start somewhere.
So they always start from somewhere. Oh, I usually prefer. So then you see, they begin to time the person. Oh, he doesn't like people. He's a private person. It's a lie.
It's a lie.
Me, I told somebody that I said he hasn't got what friends. No, it is a lie. How can you not have friends? Even if they are not, you don't consider them as
maybe
friends.
acquaintances.
Close acquaintances that you sat in classroom with, you met people.
Church,
but 24/7, you want to be near this girl. Doing what? Then the other pretenses. Oh, where are you? I was calling to check on you. Me. When you are calling to monitor me, I know. When you are checking on me, I know. So that's how come. So it's usually the low self-esteem
that they work on
makes it difficult for the person to move. If I want to use the recent occurrence as an example, you see, she came out at some point after the first one, but because in coming out, that was a good action. But did you lay down certain rules and plans before accepting to go back home? So in going back, he's known your weakness, so don't forget. He's known your weakness. So when you go.
Yeah, and I think that most of the issues are because of what people are going to say. Because at the end of the day, if you are married and you leave after a year or two, you're going to be, especially if you are a public person, the depression is on another level.
Yeah.
Because it's not just going to be like maybe you're in Tamale, only people know you, but it's like an international news all over the place.
Exactly.
Yes.
You see, I always tell people that on the day of judgment, not even your mom, your mother, would stand by you to give account of the life you lived. So if you stupidly die, it's on your head. Now, this is a very critical aspect of the discussion because currently I'm dealing with about 3 young women who are in such relationships. Not necessarily physical abuse, but mental and all that. And I ask them, so why don't you want to work out? Say, I may feel less of myself if I work out. Or I love him. That I love him excuse is the stupidest to me. Forgive me. Because what is love? Okay. Love is a state of the mind. I can decide to say that I love.
Feeling. You don't know that one. The one that butterflies.
The butterflies, the pink butterflies especially, they are the ones that you see people.
The butterflies.
No.
And if you call him once, he doesn't pick.
You see? No, you see, so you see, many years, like years of experience has taught some of us that that thing we felt, we thought it was love. It wasn't even love. Oh.
Wow.
And then the love is now about sitting with your spouse, yes, and taking decisions.
As a decision, you take.
Okay.
Yeah.
So making an effort. So it's your wife that you've slept in the same bed with for like 15 years, and then you say, I'm taking her to a treasure island, or I'm taking her for a vacation. That is love. Because what do you want from her again? But if your boyfriend you met last week says he's taking you to a fun trip somewhere, he wants to knock.
Hey.
He doesn't really have a lot to offer. He's only saying he loves you because he's now getting to explore your body or know you better. But then if a man and a wife, they're talking about school fees and all that, and they still find some time to pluck a flower and say, babe, I love you, that's love. So sometimes it takes a lot of time to
the issues of life to prove someone's love. Yeah.
Exactly. And you see, the thing about abuse too is that most of, like she spoke about self-esteem, once it is lowered, you are doomed. So I always say to people that, you see, take care of your mind. That's where you stay. Your mind, that's where you stay. Always take care of it. And don't let another person eat into your mind. Because you are going to be accountable for yourself and your life, okay? I always tell my wife, what decision do you want to take? She says, I want to do this, I want to do that. I say, do you know you account for it? She say, I need your... I say, you know, I can only suggest and give recommendations. But the rest is up to you, actually.
Take marriage to heaven, I think,
yes.
yeah. So, a very important thing that he said, if you meet a guy today, tomorrow, you say, okay, let's go to my favorite place. I'm going to advertise some resorts, some place. Not that he's looking for something. It's not because of loving, he's looking for something. So you should be able to build a relationship. And even a guy taking you out is not to a restaurant or any place. Just take a walk. Go and sit somewhere. Deep like this. There are lots of lovers bench there. Everybody wants to be ice cream.
Or Kelly.
Have a heart-to-heart conversation.
Exactly.
And that is the most important thing. Sex is not everything. Because I've heard a lot of people telling me that, Charlie, oh, worry at the funeral. So relax. Let's go for a break. We'll be right back.
Books by Pastor A.L. Fant. They are inspired by the Holy Spirit, simple to comprehend, relevant in application, and so lovely to read. Grab copies like Dynamics of Kingdom Influence, Dynamics of Ministry, Mark is King for Church Workers, Money Matters, and she calls herself a woman. This marriage must work. No more curses. Loaded mouth. Secrets of kingdom dominion. The exploits of service. Things fall apart. Church without bleeding pulpit. Singles mingle, and many more.
Welcome back to the Reflection Show. You've been married for, most of you have been married for 15 years. So, not both of them as a couple, they all have here. If you watch our episode with Kola, let me just say this. That's Coffee Lab, Kola. So, Mrs. Lab. They've been married for 15 years.
She's also called Colina.
Colina. Hey, Kola and Colina. So, yeah, so 15 years. Where was I 15 years ago? 15 years ago.
That was 2007.
Yes, 2007.
Hey, I was in class 6 or JSS1 also.
I see.
Yeah. Hey, how has it been? And what are some of the lessons you picked up? You said, let me bring you back to you were a playboy. What can you tell us to know that you were playboy and who's the way we're a playboy?
You see, some people are naturally, ladies, some people are naturally ladies' men. Like me, you can't stop girls from liking me.
Okay,
Even
so
in my old
it
age,
wasn't you, but they were coming.
I played a part. I can't be hypocritical. I mean, it's like when they come and the demand is high, you are forced to supply. You see, but the thing about women or like getting settled in your mind is that so I'll tell you a story of how I met my wife. I went to a church party. She was there dancing with another guy. Then I told the guy church party, like someone's confirmation.
Yeah.
But in a car we do that.
Youth meeting.
Yes.
That's how you met.
And you see, when you have the calling of God on you, it doesn't matter wherever you are, it's always there. So I still went to church a lot. I like church stuff, okay, even though I had my own raga reggae life. So like I saw a guy dancing with her. I was like, let me dance with this woman. Then he was like, why? I was like, she's my wife. And I was just barely 18 or something. Okay. I was like, she's my wife. That's God directing your ways. Then, because I didn't have a sister, then she turned out to be a sister to me. So it makes the marriage easier because you have a sister. Like all my friends knew her from my way back. Okay, so they all call her Stella, casually. They all go like Mrs. Achia, she's Stella to everyone. So when we have issues, and I'm away most of the time. I mean, it's a distance thing most of the time. When we have issues, we just tap into the friendship and sister. Like there are times I've used a lot of humor. Like she's very, very hyper, and I go like, "Oh, but you are my sister. Why? If you leave me, take care of me because you are all I got.
Yeah, just find
there are other women there, but you understand me better, and you came to play a role in my life. Okay, so it's been. It has not been rosy because we married quite early, and we had to chop because we didn't even. I was barely 20. I was 23. She was 22. I see. She was 22. So and then we were not financially stable and all that. So for me, I always say that God has been so good because there were times when I was doing my national service money was taking care of my baby's food and diapers. Okay, so there were times we would share even 2 Ghana cedis. 2. Okay, and so now if we can like enjoy life, I mean it's so nice, and it makes you don't want to stop it. You don't want to let it stop because you have been through the processes. Okay, that's why I always say people have to go through the process. If you just jump into it, you have 6 packs and money, so you jumped into it. Then you are now going to see the boy that, like, the boy in him. But if someone asked my wife recently that, how is your husband doing? And she was like, he's becoming a better man. And I was very happy. But it means there's progress. It goes on and on. Maybe.
And I think that's good because most people think that since you are married, it's okay. There's nothing to do to impress your wife again. So
no, there's a lot. And even, there's a calculation I do always. When you met her, she was 18. She didn't have value. Now she's a big woman. She's an officer in some place.
Yeah.
If you had met her now, okay, officer sitting somewhere, big woman, how are you going to treat her? So you can't use the 18. She was 18 and you used to give her toffee. Now she even deserves better because now you have to open the door for her to step because she's already made. But it's just by grace that you had her from back in the days. So that has been our story. We take it easy. No giddy, no too much expectations. So gradually you see that you are fulfilling each other. But if you give yourself so much expectations, like I want to see this, you can't do it.
So with the issue of abuse, how would you advise people to handle the issue of abuse? So let's say if a man is abusing a woman, as a man, would you ask the woman to leave? Advice first. How would you advise them to
Me, I have a daughter. And I've said that I'm going to leave one room in my house for her. If a man touches her, she's coming back home. Okay. I don't support divorce, but I don't support death too. So I've told, like recently, I told some lady that you know something, pack and come. Okay, I'm not saying divorce, but separate for a while. Let him come and beg for you. Then the conditions will be given to him. And I'm talking about just last year.
Wow.
Because prior to their marriage, he was abusing her, and I told her, don't marry him. but then they won't listen. And then after the marriage,
that time the butterfly were there. You can't.
we have to start killing the butterflies.
We have to start. Thank you. We have to start killing the butterflies.
Halfway through your when you get married, you realize the butterflies.
They don't even come like.
It's all.
My sister always says the advice was who are in love because there's no form of advice you give to a girl who is in love.
But it has become very important now to let our younger women or younger guys know that there are consequences for everything. You know, these days there's a song, Black Cherry song, what's it? Kweku the Traveler. Everyone is saying that if you never messed up answering the hair, you see, there are consequences to every action you take.
Yeah.
I'm paying for some of the stuff that I did when I was young. So don't think that who never F up answering the, don't think that way. So if he's abusing you in a dating state, and you think that it's gonna get better, you're on your own.
Also, what we are experiencing now is not actually the physical. It's the emotional. A friend of mine was telling me about, but it was like friend a cousin also. And she called and was crying. So she went to the house of her boyfriend. And the guy was playing game. And when she got there, the girl was crying and begging. The guy didn't even do a sieve.
Why doesn't she have a family? That's why if you said parents.
So she
parents. Our family system has broken down because if you had sisters and brothers at home, why would the guy be playing game and you are begging him? You quickly go back home because there's love in the house.
And there's one thing we do that loses our self-esteem. We want to go and stay with a guy. So you're on vacation, you're staying with a guy. Weekends, Easter weekends, I'm staying with a guy. At the end of the day, their value reduces. And it makes people who do not want to be that kind of lifestyle as you are too wrong, what kind of... But that's the right thing. You can come and spend the whole day. But tell me, 7, 8 p.m., please get up and go home. So, mommy, what young girls now here, like, it's like sometimes you will tell us, you will talk, you listen, but it's like, when a guy is coming, so I love you, you are the apple of my eye, the mosquito in my neck, they tell you all the nice things. There's one beer head center of my life, cappuccino, and all those things.
Cupcake.
And then I said, oh my God, what is wrong with us? Because there are some of my friends sometimes I see, and they are like, this guy has said this to me. A guy can look at a girl like prostitutes. I saw you with this guy. So because the media, you'll be there because I work with guys, like over 80% of people I work with are guys. So if the guy is over jealous, then I can't work again. So what should we do, especially in the abusing, like emotionally? How do I come out? How do we identify counselors? I think that's also the problem. We don't have counselors. And even when a guy approaches a girl, we don't even think about it. We don't even like discuss with him. We just say yes, I mean the relationship. But what are the discussions we have with him to get to know that what is this relationship leading to? Is it just for fun or what should we do?
So, point of correction, we do have counselors, and I think there are quite a number of institutions in Ghana now, and the Ghana Psychological Council are now very keen trying to ensure that counselors are, in places and available and accessible. So I think that is being changed out, and it would maybe in a short time we should be able to have access to all counselors wherever they may be. The other thing is that young girls, you see, when you need to be out, you need to be out. You don't need to waste time. Apart from me, if it's not an abuse where the person has probably worked on you, so you have that low self-esteem and it's taking you time to come out. I remember I had to break a relationship within a month. In fact, let me say it didn't even start. How do you want to propose to me? We are barely friends. You have not even proposed. And I had my circle of friends from lectures. We hug each other. Guys and girls, we hug, we have our chat, we work together, we are discussing things, laughing. And then because you want to come into my life, why have I hugged this guy? Somebody I've been hugging before you saw. Why am I working with them? I should come and now work with you. Wow. After 2 weeks, then you take me to a restaurant. And then when you're puto, shoved, a promise ring on my hand. So I said, so I proposed that. Oh, I said, if it's for, and I said, you know what? I mean, promise. And I said, me.
You should be though.
I said, you know what?
You.
Why? Me, I love ring soon. So if you want me to wear the
Yeah.
but you know something. This thing it won't work. You know I'm telling you what, it won't work. I'm a butterfly. I like my freedom. We haven't gone anywhere. Anywhere.
Better not to.
I'm sorry.
Well, it's our time is really up.
So
What are your
please.
final words? What should we really take from young people, girls, guys?
Please, young people,
Yeah.
marriage is an institution. Let's understand, take our time to understand the principles of marriage, the essence of marriage, why God created it. And so when we understand that, in going into a relationship, you just get up and accept any relationship, especially when you see the red flags and you know it's not going to work for you. And it is always better to have a number of friends around you where you are able to, from afar, determine whether you want with A better, B better, or C better. Then you really know where you are going. And please, not all relationship and friendship also end in marriage. So please, let's just relax and take it slow.
Yes, your final words.
All right, so I'll say that it's not all the wisdom in the world is not on the social media. So young people should desist from getting more info from social media. Look out for mentors. Look for people who are doing this thing, who is in marriage and all that, and discuss your issues with them. And also know that there's no pressure to marry. You got to know somebody very well in order to marry the person, and ensure that you love in the confines of your freedom, because there's no slavery in love. That's what I can say. Finally.
It's been an amazing discussion. I believe that those with the butterflies, about to get the butterflies and all of that, you'll be able to put them under control, because it's very disheartening sometimes. And you feel that, okay, oh, you don't understand, and I love him because of this, I can't leave. But they go back to the circles and they come back to the same issue. I always think that I'm just imagining someone like beating me, like seeing me, like which part of my body are you going to beat? He will just kill me. So it's just better that we stay. And there's always that guy out there who would never touch you.
Yeah.
So if you think that you will not get someone, if you get someone as better in character, and unfortunately, anytime we think about better, we look at the physical looks. Altogether, you have who's more handsome than you. A better person is the one who will treat you better than your ex. So whether he's handsome or whatever, no. And someone who will give you that emotional, psychological peace and any kind of peace that you need. I have been speaking with Madam Grace Efiala, which is a counselor, and also Mr. Marvin Senami Ashia. So a counselor helping us to understand relations. I think we've not even exhausted the topic. We have to come back again, look at how it is proper, some of the structures you can report, how to handle it, and also the church structures, the other structures, because that's where we fear divorce. But how can some of these issues be handled? Thank you very much for watching the Reflection Show. If you want to partner with us or sponsor, we need a lot of sponsors, like plenty. Call us on 05495788512. Give us an email on matterinspice@gmail.com, on Facebook at Matter with Spice Foundation. Get in touch with us for amazing packages, amazing content, and you'll be able to learn so much. And we're advocating that let young people watch the show. You can always watch the show. We have a lot of episodes on our YouTube channel. The name is Matter with Spice on YouTube. Subscribe so that anytime we have a video, you'll be able to just get the notification as well. And of course, we are here at the biggest spot, King David Sport, here in Tamale on the Bolga Road. So for any kind of occasion, just get in touch with King David for amazing services and their life band. Oh my. So if you want to take a girl for a date, don't go looking like an expensive place. So come for some nice life band here at King David here in Tamale. My name is Martha, and I've been like an amazing discussion. See you next week. Hello and welcome to another wonderful episode of Thoughts from Martha Inspires. I am Martha Anabila. Today I want to talk to you about what I have captioned, don't dent your reputation. Sometimes when we look at reputation, we think about a kind of big brand, being successful, being famous, or being a celebrity. That makes you have a reputation. No matter who you are, at what level you are, you can even be a student. Today I was talking to one of my mentees and I was telling her that she should be careful how she replies to students. She talks to her peers, or how her peers want to trigger her to get angry, because in the next 2 years she wants to stand as the SRC president of her school. But at that time, people are going to dig out something she might have done. Don't dent your image because you don't know the role, the career path you are going to be in the next 2, 3, 5 years, 10 years from now. Because social media never forgets. I know it's painful. I know it's hurtful. I know it's something that you don't even know how to deal with it and even how to go about it when somebody hurts you. But think about the purpose and the mandate that God has given you. That in the next few years you want to stand as the president, as the minister. Something that you would have done 10 years ago can be a reason why you missed that opportunity. Preparing for your breakthrough is not just about working on yourself. Of course, it means that being careful and omitting some of the mistakes that might have a negative impact on you in future. If you read my book Inspiration for Purpose, I highlight that as a young person you need to build your own name. Don't write on the names of your parents, the names, or maybe my uncle is a minister, so you hear the big names and you are comfortable about it. No, what is that brand, that name, that one day when they mention your name, Martha Anabila, it will be a name of weight. Don't dent your image. If you are in primary school, junior high school, senior high school, you are in the university or even above university, don't dent your image because social media will not forget you. Your friends would always want to come back to say something against you. When a pig is fighting with someone and the person gets angry and wants to fight back with the pig will drag the person to the mat. And later on they will see the person and not the pig, because the pig's behavior is to always get dirty in the mud. But sometimes, but the level God wants to take you to, don't be dragged into the mud. Be careful how you allow, when somebody insults you, sometimes don't reply, don't retaliate. Silence solves issues and rumors become meaningless with time. If possible, don't reply, because your reputation, you might think you were nobody today, but in the next 5-10 years, when you are about to be successful, that is where the enemy goes back to dig your past and want to cause problems and issues against you. Please don't give the devil a chance. Don't let people have things to say against you while you cannot access that breakthrough. It is tough. That is why you have to pray for that kind of grace. In short, make sure that the reputation you want to build in future starts from now. Reputation is built not just in a day, but for several years. Comes together to give you a very great and wonderful reputation. Be strong and of good courage. Be patient and believe that all things work together for your good. Thank you for watching this episode on Thoughts from Martha Inspires. I am Martha Anabila. See you next time.